going, YouTube? It's the franchise guy coming at you again with another episode of Madden 19 Eagles franchise featuring the Philadelphia Eagles. Alshon Jeffrey, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. You like to see that. Jason Kelce, though, getting an upgrade. He's down to an 87 overall. The 32-year-old center. I mean, yeah, he's going to be an Eagle for life. Sorry, no ifs, ands, or buts. He will be an Eagle for life. You're thinking, oh, but he's 32. Why are you going to give him a big extension for 3, 4 years? It's like simple. Because you have to look out for those who have been with your team from the beginning. Jason Kelce is this Eagles team. He has been this Eagles team through good and through bad. And I'm sorry, there's no reason why we shouldn't bring him back. If you think Jason Kelce doesn't deserve to be an Eagle for life, I'm sorry, you're not an Eagles fan. Now, you're not an Eagles fan, you're not a fan of the NFL. You can say anything you want about Jason Kelce, but Jason Kelce is probably one of the purest people in the world. You want to know why? Because I had the chance to meet Jason Kelce, and he's an amazing person. He's down to earth, he's a funny guy, he's a great guy, just an absolute people's person. I mean, yeah, think of, well, he's an offensive lineman. What offensive lineman isn't a people person? Simple. Richie Incognito. Yeah. We'll talk about not a people person. Richie Incognito was bullying, was it Mike Martin? Defense, I think it was what, defensive tackle, offensive lineman, one of the two right there. Got kicked out the Dolphins for bullying a teammate. And then, I mean, I don't know the whole story about this. And I'm not going to blame Richie for what had happened. But Richie Incognito, he got help for what he needed. He saw specialists. He saw a doctor that would help him, make Richie Incognito right. But the whole him had a psychotic breakdown, threatened to cut his deceased father's head off. Yeah, that happened, and people just kind of never let him forget about it. I mean, Richie Incognito was trending on Twitter I guess yesterday, the day of recording this, but 2 days ago when this will upload, I guess premiere. So what was it on what day is that? Friday, the 12th. Yeah, 7/12/19. This past Friday, he was trending on Twitter just because, and people were just bashing Richie Incognito. He had done nothing wrong. He was just trending on Twitter, and people were bashing him for just existing at that point. People are bringing up the old things he did because people don't let things go. People don't let people move on. Are there some people who deserve to be held grudges against? Yeah. But for someone who has been diagnosed with mental illness, it's not their fault. It's not their doing why their brain is the way it is. It's a chemical imbalance. They can't help that. They can't be like, I'm just going to chemically imbalance my brain. But the Pat McAfee show, they interviewed Richie Incognito, and even Pat McAfee was like, it's one of the best interviews he's ever had. He's been doing stand-up. He's been doing, his talk show for a couple years now. Ever since he, retired from the NFL, he's been doing it. And he said it's one of the best interviews he had ever had. And he got bashed for it just because it's Richie Incognito. But you have to let people move on, and some people you can't let move on, like Jason Kelce. You can't let him move on from a team like this. I think part of the reason why I got rid of my old Eagles franchise is because I was embarrassed by some of the moves I've made. I know I traded away Steven Wisniewski. Okay, I mean, so what? I mean, he's alright. I mean, he was one of the main reasons why I won the Super Bowl. I traded away Jason Kelce just because he was getting older and was regressing. I mean, that's more of a Madden problem than a me problem. I feel like at that point, but still, I traded away a player who should not have been traded away. I mean, there's just so many things in that series that could have done better. That's kind of the reason why I got deleted it. But Jason Kelce, the Eagle for the rest of his career. If he plays one more season, if he plays 5 more seasons, he'll be an Eagle. Plain and simple. I mean, if Howie Roseman lets Jason Kelce sit for any other team, I feel like Eagles fans will riot. Just because Eagles fans love Jason Kelce. But Kyle Shanahan, big fan of Jason Kelce, though. You know, part of the reason why he has him out there every day. Throws him at center, has him run this offense right here. He's Carson Wentz's main protector, and he shows it every game. When you see the sack totals, and you see Jason Peters, you see Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, you very rarely see Jason Kelce. I think he's only come up 3-4 times total in was this episode 51 and 50, I guess 48 9 episodes because there's a couple off-season episodes. But yeah, to only have a couple sacks in 50 something odd episodes, that is not a bad thing right there at all. I am not going to scoff at that at all. Not one bit of me will scoff at that. To say the least, just to be fair. But Carson Wentz doing what he does, getting the first down with the legs this time. Saw the Cardinals there for a couple minutes. Cardinals, what are the Cardinals? I mean, what have the Cardinals ever been relevant? The Cardinals are a laughingstock to say the least. You trade up in the draft 2 years ago and select Josh Rosen to be your QB of the future. You give him zero team to support him. Zero team. I mean, sure, it's like, let's give him David Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald. Okay, you give him one of the oldest receivers in the league, and you give him one of the most injury-prone running backs in the league. You don't give him an offensive lineman. You don't give him a defense on that team to work with. He had Tyrann Mathieu, but yeah, you see what happened there. They let him go. But I don't know. I don't think they gave him enough time. I mean, you see what Eagles fans did to Carson Wentz when he was here his rookie year. It's like, oh, he's a bust. He's garbage. Should have traded down. Should never have traded up for him. Should have taken Zeke. Should have taken Dak. But Carson Wentz the next year proved a lot of doubters wrong. That Carson Wentz is a legit MVP caliber quarterback. And I would not be surprised that once Miami builds a team around Josh Rosen, that Miami will be relevant. I'm not saying he's going to be their next Dan Marino. No way. No quarterback will ever be a Dan Marino. There will be Dan Marino-esque quarterbacks. I can see that. I can see Carson Wentz being a Brett Favre-esque quarterback. I can see him throwing 50 touchdowns and having 20 interceptions one year. I can definitely see that happening. Do I think Carson Wentz is smarter, though, than Brett Favre? Yeah. I definitely see that. Do I think he's more, intelligent with his throws than Brett Favre? Yeah. I definitely see that, too. You see a lot of Carson Wentz's interceptions coming off of him trying to do too much. It's not bad throws. It's not, not reading the defense correctly. It's Carson Wentz trying to do too much. Carson Wentz, doesn't see the easy route down below. He tries to go for the big home run ball, and it gets picked off, or it gets, swatted away. But the Cardinals, on the other hand, are the NFL's retirement home. I'm sorry. You have David Johnson, absolute freak of nature running back. Problem is, he can't stay healthy to save his life. Like, how can you have a running back that talented and you can't keep him healthy? I don't think he's been healthy since he literally led the league in fantasy points like 4 years ago. And he's literally fallen off the face of the map because of this. Like, running backs need to be healthy, and they're just not healthy. Ever. I mean, let's move on to Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald has been teasing retirement for like 4 years now. And he keeps saying, oh, one more year. This will be the year we win the ring. This will be the year we win a ring. And it gets to a point now that, do you think Larry Fitzgerald actually believes they'll win a ring? I mean, their window is long, long, long gone. I am sorry, Cardinals fans, if you're watching this, but your window for a ring is way, way gone. I mean, your window probably closed the first year you had Carson Palmer. I mean, and then you're only not only one of NFL's oldest teams, you bring in Terrell Suggs, T Sizzle. Why? Just because, I guess. I guess you wanted some grit on your defense. I mean, hey, I feel like Lawrence Timmons might be available. Maybe oh boy, what's his name? What's the guy's name from something Harrison maybe? The guy for the Steelers who like deadlifts like semi truck chains. That guy who's just like deadlifting 200-pound chains for the fun of it for no reason whatsoever. The pass rushing guy who the Patriots got up to defeat the Steelers so he could understand their playbook. That guy. Rodney Harris? Nah, Rodney Harris. That's safety. It's gonna kill me because I don't remember his name at all. And I definitely should, but I don't know. I feel like there's Cardinals are a joke. They are hands down a joke. One can only hope the I don't know, the mobile quarterback and Kyler Murray can stand up to whatever it is the Cardinals plan to be doing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals end up with the first overall draft pick again. And at that point, what do you do? Do you select another quarterback? Do you go after Tua? Justin Herbert, maybe? At what point does it become a waste of talent? I mean, you see Goodell step in for silly things, silly misdemeanors, and then you see the NBA step in and veto trades because you don't think it was valuable enough to trade away Chris Paul to the Lakers because you felt the Lakers were short ending the stick for, what was it, Charlotte at the time? And then Chris Paul ends up going to the Clippers for a deal that actually wasn't much better. But why doesn't Goodell do stuff like that for the NFL? When you have bad owners purposely running teams into the ground, or you have bad coaches, or you have bad GMs, how do you not step in and do that? Like, you see what Adam Silver did for the Knicks, who were deliberately tanking, where they said, you see what happens when you tank, you're not guaranteed success, you're not guaranteed picks. I mean, but the NFL, if you tank, you're guaranteed picks. If you try and go 0-16 and you go 0-16, you're gonna get the first overall draft pick. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can get the Saquon Barkleys, you can get the Baker Mayfields of the draft, and if they pan out, that's amazing. But sometimes they don't pan out though, so you gotta roll the dice right there. You can't always just go with the premier talent, and it looks like so far, Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield will pan out. I don't know. I feel like either the NFL needs to do something to prevent teams from tanking, or they gotta do something crazy. They gotta do something that will make NFL, relevant, make it more appealing. I'm not saying it's not appealing enough because it owns a literal day of the week. It owns half the Sundays in the year from August to February. It owns Sunday. Yeah, you have football, you have preseason football, then you have regular season, you have the Pro Bowl, playoffs, Super Bowl, and then even then, it's like you have the NFL network. So football is so incumbent that it owns its own television station. It owns its own television station. It owns a day of the week. It literally owns half the Sundays in the year. So I feel like just football needs to do something to prevent the Giants, to prevent the Browns from doing what the Giants and the Browns do. If that's making the draft lottery, you have to make the draft lottery because it's not fair to the teams who try their best and just end up with the short end of the stick. They deal with injuries, but they can't get a good pick because guess what? There are three teams tanking it out because they want to get their next franchise player. It's not how things should be done. It's not how things were done In the past, if you had bad players, you had bad players and you dealt with it. And then you try to draft better players to replace them. You didn't deliberately put out the worst team for you. But I don't know. That's just me. That's just my thinking. I guess I just think differently than some people that they think tanking's okay. I don't think tanking is okay. But it's always fun to see a good tank bowl. You know, the worst team face the worst teams, and who's gonna worst more. But if you guys liked this episode, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have missed any episodes, hit the playlist down below, as there's tons of Eagles franchise down there. So many episodes, so little time to watch before Madden 20 comes out. You know, just like, comment, subscribe, peace out, rock on YouTube, and definitely stay classy. Before I go, is AB really the diva, or is he just putting on a show for everyone to watch?